All right, hey VC, I'm Jamie. Welcome back. We are back with another video and back with a special guest of this time, a good friend of the podcast or the YouTube channel. A good friend of mine, John Gray, joins us, and we're going to talk about the blues harmonica, blues music, and music in general. John, welcome. It's good to see you.
Hey, Jamie, it's good to see you too, especially during these COVID months where it's impossible to see anybody.
Oh, I know. Even in John and I live in the same town, and we really can't even see each other in the same town because of the shutdown technicalities, the stay-at-home work orders, that sort of thing. So it's good to see you, John. Now we're going to be talking about blues harmonica, but first, John, I've got to ask you about the your shirt there, the Sydney
Yes,
Millionaires. Who are the Sydney Millionaires?
Sydney Millionaires were a hockey team in Sydney, Nova Scotia,
Okay.
and a great uncle of mine from Listowel, actually two of my great uncles, played on the Sydney Millionaires. They played some NHL teams back then, and my one great uncle, my uncle Doug, is in the Sydney or the Nova Scotia Hockey Hall of Fame.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's in the Hockey Hall of Fame for defenseman.
Oh, I didn't know that. That is cool.
Yeah. There was from the Fritz family up in Listowel. The Fritz family had about 13 kids. And at one point, the Fritz family made the hockey team in Listowel. It was mostly just the Fritzes that played. So,
That is awesome. Well, there you go. It wouldn't take long to talk about hockey, two Canadians getting on YouTube, but we're not going to talk about hockey. We're going to talk about blues music, or especially blues harmonica. Now, John, you are a harp player or a blues harmonica player. Is that fair to say? Now, you're not professional. You play for the love of it. Is that fair to
yeah,
say?
yes. I have done a couple of gigs here in town, actually, around on the horse-drawn carriage, serenading to the Stratford people downtown. But I've never really played professional. I've been on stage many times, but
Mhm.
never been in a band. That's for sure.
Now, what is it about blues? Shall we call it the blues harp or just the harp? What do you prefer to call it? Harmonica, harp? What's right?
Well,
What's
either way, harp, harmonica, either way. I call it the blues harps myself. So
Yeah. And why do they call it the harp? Is it just a short form for harmonica? Like, why would the, yeah, I
yeah,
guess, yeah,
just basically a short form. Yeah.
fair enough. Now, what attracted you to, of all the instruments that are out there, to the blues harp?
Well, it's funny because when I was in, I think grade six, I was on in a harmonica band at public school, and really didn't. I think I lasted about 2 or 3 weeks.
Really? There was a harmonica band. Wow,
Yeah, there
that's
was a
cool.
whole bunch of us, but we had to learn the like the weird songs, and it wasn't blues or anything like that. It was like Old McDonald and stuff like that. And it was like no, I lost interest pretty quick. But
Fair enough.
I did buy a guitar, thinking well maybe I could learn a guitar, and couldn't figure out the fretwork and all of the different stuff. So my brother took the guitar, and I was at a high school. I guess it was like a concert, and you would know the band. It was Lighthouse,
Okay.
and they were super band. And I met a fella, and I knew him from school, and this guy could play by ear. Like he could play any instrument by ear. So I said to him, he played harmonica very well. And I said, I want to learn how to play the blues harp. And he said, well, get yourself a harmonica. So I did. Then I went back to see him. I said, okay, I got a harmonica. He said, now learn to blow one note in, one note out constantly. So I
Hmm.
did. Went back to him, said, I got it down pat. He goes, okay, so you know how to play. See you later.
That's
And
my
you
kind of
know what?
lesson.
I just took it from there. And I think it was the first summer that I had it. An aunt of mine in the United States passed away. She left me some money, and I flew to England to see my brother going to school there.
Hmm.
Took my harmonica and was hitchhiking around the London area, and I just played it. I just kept playing and playing and playing and playing, and that's basically where it sprouted. And then I just never gave up.
That is the beauty of the harmonica. It has got to be the most portable instrument that is out there. I mean, it's not the set of drums that you have to load up in the van sort of thing. You can play it anywhere, anywhere.
That's right. Yeah. The only thing is if you want to amplify it, obviously you have to have an amplifier, which I have. I've had two or three different amplifiers. The one I have now is a beautiful Fender that my brother rebuilt, and
Okay.
I love it, and it's great. But no, you're right. That's
Oh,
the size of it right there.
okay. There you go. Now, what I didn't know is that there are different harmonica keys or ones that for like different notes and sort of thing. Is that right?
Yeah,
Like there's a,
there's different keys, and guess what? How I could maybe say it is that I play what they call a cross harp. So if the band is playing in a key of G, I'm playing in a key of C.
okay.
So there's many different keys. I think there's about eight or nine different harmonica keys. I have most of them. And then I just have to find out from the band what the song is going to be in so I can adjust and play the right key for the harmonica.
Okay. Very cool. And like some of those you see in those kind of nostalgia films, like these gigantic harmonicas. Are those actual harmonicas? I mean, you have the standard size, but I mean, you see all these different shapes and sizes of
Oh,
harmonicas. They're all harmonicas, technically?
they are definitely, yes. They
Oh,
all are
okay.
harmonicas. There's one they call a chromatic that has a button on the end. So you actually get four different octaves, let's say.
Okay.
Like this will have two and in and out. Those will have a button, so you're going to get two in, or one in and out, or two, and then push the button, you get two more.
Okay.
So it's very difficult. I have never played a chromatic. Stevie Wonder is an incredible harmonica player on a chromatic.
Okay, very good. Now, you were chatting about how you've taken the harmonica with you, sort of hitchhiking and here, there, and everywhere. You did play, as I understand, one very special place in Europe, a kind of an open arena or open theater, shall we say,
Yes, it,
for a
it
crowd of
wasn't.
who was filming. It
It,
wasn't a, I'll let you
it,
explain.
it was about not even 10 seconds worth of harmonica playing, but we were in the same. What do you call it?
It was sort of like a vacation cruise or something like that,
Yeah,
or
I'm thinking of what they called it at Pompeii. It was like a theater, an outdoor theater in
right.
Pompeii,
Oh, sure,
where
yeah.
where David Gilmour had played.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
the great theater in Pompeii. Yeah,
yes, and I decided that I mean, obviously I'm at Pompeii, and David Gilmour was standing on the ground that I stood on. I thought
yeah.
I got to play my harmonica here, so I pulled it out and played a little tune and said, "This is for you, David," and away we went.
So there has been three concerts at Pompeii. Pink Floyd initially when they did their filming Pompeii, David Gilmour, and John Gray. John Gray was the third one. So there you
Yeah,
go. There's been
mine
only,
never got published.
but there you go. Three shows. So there's some music trivia for you there. That is so cool, especially with the David Gilmour Pink Floyd connection there for sure. Now you've got your harmonica. We were going to actually ask you to play maybe a little bit at the end, but do you want to just give us just a little sample of
Yeah,
what it kind of sounds like?
yeah. So this is a key of C.
Key of C. And is that kind of the blues key?
I play a C a lot and I play the D a lot. I can
Okay.
tell you, dig out the D, and I'll give you a quick example of the C. So, and then the D, so you
Okay.
can
Yeah.
hear the difference.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's, like I say, I have about 7 or 8 harmonicas in here. So yeah, that's.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's just, what do you think is it about the sound? There's something about it that reaches, I don't know, our soul, or there's like such an earthiness about it. It conjures up the trains and that sort of thing. I don't know what it is. What is it for you?
Well, I think it's exactly what you're saying. And when we go back to some of the old days down south, when some of the black harmonica players were out, they were phenomenal. I mean, and they just had a way of bending the note and just making you want to sit back in your rocking chair and listen and have a little
Yeah,
moonshine. And
exactly. Now you've got to, now who have you been influenced by over the years in terms of harmonica players or harp players?
I would say I played at a bar once in Cambridge, and a guy came up to me and he said, "You play a really mean cross harp." And I said, "Oh, okay." Because at that point I thought it's just a harmonica, so the cross harp kind of threw me off.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, "You sound so much like King Biscuit Boy." Now, King Biscuit Boy was a phenomenal harmonica player, phenomenal singer. I don't think I would ever hit that level, but
Okay. Now, for
I
those
think
watching, King Biscuit Boy is a Canadian artist. It was King Biscuit Boy and Crowbar that would often play together. But just as you mentioned, a phenomenal blues harp player.
yeah, he was out of Hamilton and he was phenomenal. But
Very
I
good.
think I think if I was to pick a band that I really sort of followed after or think that my sound is like would be Paul Butterfield.
Okay, Paul
Yeah,
Butterfield. Very
Paul
nice.
Butterfield. He could play a mean harp, but there's so many people out there that can
Yeah,
play a harmonica. And as well, knowing all of the music and that you do, almost every band at some point pulls a harmonica into their song.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
like you know the Beatles and Stones, and they all have had harmonica in there.
Yeah, and it's not always, as you say, predominant, but it kind of comes up every, now and again. It's not in every song. It's not even necessarily a big part of the band, but it does come up a lot in the music, as you say.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you look at guys like John Mayall, Magic Dick from Jay Giles
There goes.
band.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's phenomenal. He was a phenomenal downchild blues band. Johnny Walsh,
Johnny Walsh. Oh my
great,
goodness.
great harp player, great harp player.
Yeah.
So there's so many of them out there. Now you can go to the other end and say it's not blues, but you could say a kind of a jazzier type harmonic is Lee Oster. I don't know how he does it. I honestly don't know how he does it. He takes the notes and just makes a jazz song out of it. And that's
Okay, especially for harmonica. You're associating it with blues, with rock, but nothing quite like that.
no, no. And I actually have a Lee Oster harmonica.
There you go. Very nice. Very nice. Now, you do have some CDs there in terms of some of your influences over the years from some of your CDs. I don't know if they're at hand there, but
Just a few that I pulled
sure.
out, like that Taj Mahal.
Oh,
Excellent, excellent. The harp on there is just excellent.
and he's and
Um,
such an amazing guitar player. This is the amazing thing with some of these musicians. They're amazing, musicians, guitar players, and then can blow a mean harp as well. It's just like,
you wonder why or how. You wonder
yeah,
really how they do that.
yeah,
Another one that has some great harp, obviously Sticky Fingers, the Rolling Stones.
yeah.
I mean, phenomenal.
Yeah,
I
Mick
didn't.
Jagger is a really underrated harp player
Yeah,
for sure, I
I
think.
think so too. Now, I didn't pull any Beatles ones out, but we all know that there was lots of harmonica, lots of
Yeah.
Beatles songs.
Hmm.
That being my favorite band is one of them. Now, this is a bit different, but Bob Dylan,
Okay.
a totally different style, but kind of bluesy,
Yeah.
but he did it his own way. And he did it while he was playing a guitar, which is very difficult because you've got the neck brace on, you've got the harp sitting there, so you can't really cup it to
Okay.
make it, you bend the notes, let's say.
Now, have you ever played that way? I guess, gosh, we've been talking about, blues harp or rock harp, but gosh, we haven't even talked about really the whole folk influence or folk blues with harp. Have you ever played that way with a harmonica with the little
No,
thing or
no.
whatever?
I've always had microphone and I've always had it in my hand. Now I have my own microphone, which a lot of harp players use.
So yeah, it's a stylized specific. Wow. Oh my gosh. It
So,
looks
yeah,
vintage
that's what they,
almost.
well, it's been around a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
This isn't that old, but this style, this is it's made by Shure and it's called a green bullet. So you can virtually,
Nice.
if you get the harp up there, you can
Oh, I
cut
love it.
right around it. It has its own volume control. You
Okay.
know, I find it's a little awkward because it's big.
Is it
But
heavy and little? Is it a
it
little
is
heavy? Yeah, it looks
it's
heavy.
very heavy actually. Now they've come out with some new ones down in the States that they almost fit on like a ring on the two fingers,
Oh, is that
and
right?
it's hidden inside your hand. You can't even see it.
Okay.
I, I haven't got one of those yet. I'm working on it, but again, COVID.
That microphone there, it does make me think of the old chess players, like maybe like Little Walter or some of those that would have had those kind of, or even Howlin' Wolf. I think there's a picture, and those
Yeah,
were, I think, even bigger. Those mics were they not? I
yeah,
think they were a good size. So you
yeah,
imagine hanging on to that, hanging on to your harp, and then playing. Oh
yeah.
my gosh!
I mean, I've used many different mics. I don't always carry my briefcase. That's where I keep everything in a briefcase. But I mean, I've used lots of bands' mics, and it's any of them are adaptable to the harmonica. Some are easier to play because, well, if
Yeah,
you have it on the stand, you don't have to hold it. This one I have to hold. It
yeah.
doesn't fit on the stand, so it can get heavy after a while.
Yeah, so that Bob Dylan Neil Young way of playing, it's just a lot of not of course it's great and it's wonderful to listen to, but you can't then bend the notes or anything. It's a lot of just sort of the in and out, if you will. Like
Yeah,
it's got to be a different way of playing it.
yeah, I would think it would be difficult to really bend the note because bending the note, you want to have that. You want to have it in my opinion, you want to have it in your hand and cup like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's yeah, it's and nothing against Bob Dylan, that's for sure. The guy, he was fantastic. I mean, his music is, it's there's no words for Bob Dylan.
Yeah, Bob and Neil Young comes to mind with that
Yeah,
style too,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
same,
Yeah.
yeah, same thing. Same.
Yeah.
Now, now let's see. Here's a band, and I'm sure you have this. Sonny Terry
Okay.
and Brownie McGee.
Okay. Tell us about Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee.
These two guys are phenomenal. They are phenomenal. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Brownie McGee is blind, and Sonny Terry plays the harmonica. I believe he plays the. Oh, why am I wrong? Maybe it's no. I'm sure it's Sonny Terry. But they are just. I mean, there's a song on here, "White Boy Lost in the Blues." That I live by that song.
Okay.
It's that is just
What do you
phenomenal.
think, and what do you think he brings to it? Like in terms of the what is it about that strikes you? Is it just the rawness, the richness of it? Is it?
Yeah, I think it is, and I think it's that old South. That old South feeling that these guys are blues guys. These guys went to places that you know speakeasies and played years ago, and just wow.
Yeah,
We don't see that anymore. It's unfortunate that we don't see. Again, COVID is not helping out, but we don't have the venues. We don't have those little bars where you go in and there's a couple of guys sitting in the corner playing guitar and a harmonica. It just
hmm,
doesn't happen anymore.
yeah, yeah. It just
I mean,
doesn't seem to.
no.
Yeah,
And
just
one last one I have, of course, Paul
oh,
Butterfield.
Paul Butterfield Blues Band. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, so good.
fantastic, fantastic. I mean, I don't know of any other band that I like as much for harmonica as Paul Butterfield band.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
were, I mean, again, like I said, you guys got John Mayall out there who's, I mean, I know, I understand he's getting old now. I just had a look at a picture of him and I thought, wow, he's really aging. But he played a harmonica. Oh, oh, some of his songs are incredible. Blues from Laurel Canyon was
Oh,
incredible,
yeah,
incredible.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, here's a question in terms of blues harp. Can some harp players maybe play too many notes, or are you a fan of maybe not as many notes? Almost like guitarists, that some guitarists get criticized because they play too fast or too many notes. There are some, I think it's been the fellow from one of the bands, the Blues Traveler, the fellow, is it, I can't, John Popper, who I think Mick Jagger had mentioned one time he thought he played too fast or too many notes. Do you have any issue with that, or is that a critique? Say, as I say, like guitarists, some they're fast, but it feels like they play too many notes, whereas maybe not so
Yeah,
much. I don't
well,
know.
I think if some harp players want to play their harp for the whole song, I'm not like that. I like to take a break and let the band have. I mean, let everybody have some fun and let the guitar player go for it. I'm. It's funny because I wish I could remember the name of the bar. It was in North Vancouver. I went there years ago, and the fella that I was with wanted me to become professional. So it was during the first break that he went up, talked to the band, and said, "Well, I got a harp player sitting at the table. You should let him come up and do a song." And the guy said, "Well, we had a guy up last night. And that's not going to happen." He said, "Well, you know what? This guy's really good. I mean, trust me, you can't go wrong." So he came back to the table. His name was Bart. Bart came back to the table. He said, "Oh, you're going up first song, third set." And I went, "What? This, you can't do this to me. I'm not prepared. You just walk up to me and tell me I'm going on stage." So after a couple of beers, maybe two or three, and they called me up, and the band looked at me, and the guy said, "So, what song do you want to play?" And I said, "I don't know. It's kind of quiet in here. We need to boost get everybody boogieing." I said, "Why don't we do Johnny Be Good?" And he said, "You're going to play Johnny Be Good on the harmonica?" I said, "Yeah, you started. I'll join in. As soon as you guys get going, I'll just join in somewhere." Well, by the time we were done, he looked at me and said, "Don't sit down. We're going to do another song."
I love it. And it's
That became
interesting.
one of my favorite songs to play. Johnny Be Good became
Which I
one of
wouldn't
my
have thought.
favorites.
I wouldn't have thought at all on the harp, Johnny B. Good. I would not have thought that at all. It's because there's
No,
not harp in the original song, but there you go. I've heard that kind of a story with a lot of harp players that for some reason, if somebody like in a bar setting, pub setting, knows that somebody plays the harmonica, they're thrown on stage. And I can't think of any other, like a guitarist has to plug in and kind of tune up,
exactly.
and it's a whole kind of thing, or you just don't throw a person with their drums on stage. But there is something about the harp where if you have it one, you're up on stage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it's like you say, it's so easy to carry that I mean, you can take it any way you want. I
Yeah.
can. I don't. I mean, I don't carry a whole bunch of different keys if I go out. I may maybe
Mm.
take, but yeah, I can't carry my briefcase wherever I go. That's for sure.
Yeah, so
But
if you have the one harp, you would have to say this harp is in C, so whatever you're playing has to be
right,
coordinated.
exactly. Which like I said, I jammed with my brother and a bunch of his friends, and that was always the issue I had with the guy playing guitar. He would say, "Okay, we're going to do this song," and he'd start into it, and I'd be standing there trying to look at him, going, "I don't know what key to play. I don't want to pick." I played at a bar in Toronto once. Like the band invited me up, and it was great. I told them what key I had. I said, "Here's what you guys got to be in." They played in the wrong key. My key was off, and when I sat down, they said that was fantastic. I thought, no, it wasn't. It was really bad. I was totally off key.
And everybody loved it, John. Everybody loved
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. But I've done many, 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 many venues. I played. Actually, won a trip when I worked for Chrysler Canada to. Let's see, where was that? Was Barbados to Sam Lord's Resort, and one of the fellas went up and told the band that was playing one evening for us that, "Oh, this guy plays a harmonica." So they invited me up. They called it a mouth organ, which I went up and said, "Please don't ever call it that again." And I played a song, and they loved it. And then one of the bigwigs from Chrysler in Detroit came up to me and said, "Okay, we're having an evening gig. We're going to have another band. We're going to record it. You have to play harmonica." And I went, "Sure. I don't mind at all." So it
Nice.
was a lot of fun.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. And just as we were chatting about, what key, it makes me think of one harp player we haven't talked about in terms of multi instrumentalist, Stevie Wonder, who of course
Oh,
can play fantastic harp. It makes me think about Fingertips Part Two, where they're on the piano and they're saying, "What key? What key?" that sort of thing. That just comes to mind
yeah.
because yeah, you got to be in the right key. That's kind of
That's right.
essential.
That's right. Now, I played the blues. I didn't really dabble into country, maybe a couple of songs, but I did get into a lot of bluegrass at one point,
Okay,
and played at a place in New Dundee called Barton's Inn.
okay. Tell us about that.
Had a blast. Had a blast. They were bringing up bluegrass bands from down in the states, southern states, and they would always have a contest, talent contest. I think it was a T-shirt, a jug of beer, and there was something else in their little trophy. I won many jugs of beer.
Now playing
And
bluegrass. Wow.
yeah, at one point, I had broken my ankle in a car accident, and I had a cast on it. so I couldn't stand to play, and they would put a chair on the stage for me, and the band introduced me as Lame John. Well, we're gonna have a harmonica player come up here, and his name is Lame John. Come on up, Lame John. I got known that Barton's in as Lame John.
Oh my goodness. Now playing bluegrass, because I always think of bluegrass as being quite fast or music that's
Very.
potentially fast. Is that a real adjustment for someone like you playing as opposed to blues or rock or whatever?
It is. I just seem to, I mean, like I say, once the song gets going, then I don't have an issue. It's just, I just need to hear the beginning and I need to hear a little bit of the song. Then
Right.
I can judge in my mind where I'm going to go with the harmonic.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about, the harmonica. It's like you're really just with the context of the band, it's just that wonderful layer on top where the harmonica is really just kind of riding that surf, almost, or riding that
Yeah.
wave, and can take it in different directions, but it's just that icing on the cake sort of thing, and you can just kind of ride it along.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, for me, it's been a lot of fun. I've had fun playing for my friends, playing with my brother, playing in bars that I didn't ever think I would play in.
Yeah,
So, it's been an enjoyment for me. I love my music now. Lately, I haven't played much, but I've been looking at getting together with a fellow down in St. Mary's to form a little group. But
right.
again,
Yes, yes,
with the COVID situation, it's difficult to start anything. But I'm sure once we get over all of this, that I'll get back into the harmonica and
for
then
sure.
see where we go.
Okay, now I pulled out this CD because we haven't chatted about this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you've played with Stevie T and the
Yeah,
Kingtones. Is that correct? Was there
I did.
and that was one of, I think, your last or more recent on stage. I think it was one of those situations you were pulled on stage and kind of thrust into the spotlight.
Actually, I
Or
was
I
at
can't
the
remember.
It was at the Masonic
Yeah,
Hall
yeah,
in
yeah.
Stratford. It was a birthday party for one of the people that I worked for. Um, and actually, I've met your brother there. We had a
Yeah,
couple beers,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I said something about going on stage and playing a song with Stevie T. I'm a harmonica player, and was your brother that went into the back and said, "Where's Stevie?" I was like,
No
you
shame.
just don't throw the curtain open and say,
Right.
"Where's
Yes.
Stevie?"
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yes. You're your agent.
yeah. So I talked to Stevie for a moment. Everything was fine, but there was somebody else there. And as I was talking to Stevie, saying, "Okay, I'll go home and get my harmonica," this lady piped up, and I won't use the exact words she said,
Fair enough.
but she said, "Are you any damn good?" I'll use
Yeah.
damn.
Oh, yeah. So questioning your, credentials, because
Yeah,
Stevie, we
yeah,
should mention, like Stevie T is a local area musician, and he is just absolutely terrific.
oh,
Stevie
he is.
T and
He
Kingtones, a
is.
blues guitarist, really terrific. So, sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I agreed that I'd go home, and he said, "Okay, well, we'll get you up," and that was fine. But this lady had asked me that, and I said, "Well, I guess I'm as good as I can be. I think I'm good." And it turned out that it was Cheryl Lescombe. And Cheryl Lescombe is a renowned blues singer in Kitchener.
Oh,
She,
okay.
she's an incredible blues singer.
Oh, okay.
So I did a song. She didn't play during this or sing. She's virtually a singer. She didn't sing on the song that I played with Stevie. But when I went to sit down, I had to go through the back room where all the band sits when they're taking a break. And she looked at me. She said, "Where are you going?" And I'm going to go join the birthday party. And she goes, "Well, why don't you do another one?" Well, then you must think it's okay. I must have passed the
The
test.
audition. You've passed
Yeah,
the
really.
audition.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that's got to be an amazing feeling too when you get that sort of accolades and recognition from peers like that, from professional players. That must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It does. But like I say, I just do it for fun. I just want everybody to enjoy the music, basically the
Yep.
blues or rock and roll or whatever we're gonna play. That's my thing. I just want you to have fun. I don't think I'm a great harmonica player by any means, but this is I've been playing 60 or 50 years now, so
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think there's something again when, you've been enjoying the band and then if there's like a guest harmonica player, it just lifts the whole evening up just to a next level. I've seen that many, many times. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, yeah, and especially if they get the audience just rocking and rolling. That's what everybody wants. They want it. They want to hear that bluesy rock and roll harmonica. Let's boogie.
Yeah, let's boogie. Well, this has been an absolute delight, John. I've really enjoyed this. Can you play us a little something to wrap things up? Not to put you on the spot or anything like that. And you've already passed the audition. You've already passed the audition, so there's nothing to worry about. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Well done. And you can see the passion. You can see the passion when you play. Like you're into it. It's awesome.
Well, the eyes, normally the eyes are closed, and I'm just, but it's so difficult. I mean, we get people saying, well, go up and do a harmonica solo. You can't really do it. It's like asking a drummer to go up and do a solo.
Mm,
You
just
don't
yeah.
even know that, you can't tell what song he's playing. And I don't play anything but blues. So when there's a band involved, it's a whole different story. Then I
Yeah.
can relate to the band. I can get going at their pace. I can join in when I want. And it makes a whole different atmosphere for me.
Fabulous. Well, John Gray, thank you so much for this conversation. Absolutely enjoyed it. And again, thank you so much. Really appreciate this.
Thank you very much, Jamie. It was a pleasure being on here.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for me, Jamie Cottle, and we will chat again. So do take care. Bye bye.